Hi friends, this is NJ, your host on this channel. So we will continue our discussion on the line of Saturn. A quick recap of all what we have studied so far. So what does the line of Saturn represent? Line of Saturn represents your wealth related indications, your potential to earn money. So any indication of your wealth, of your business, of your service, of your career, of your occupation, time of promotion, time of buying new home, time of buying new vehicle, new property, all that is seen chiefly from the line of Saturn. Line of Saturn is so important that even the major events of your life along with the lifeline gets verified and checked on the line of Saturn. So any line which is going and pointing towards a middle finger is known as the line of Saturn. So this is what the line of Saturn is. Now when it comes to judging this line, there are certain parameters and certain conditions which we have discussed in the past videos, like the way, for example, whenever we do analysis, we need to do the analysis of the both hands. The right hand, let's say in my case, I use my right hand for writing, for driving, for all the effort related work. So my right hand will be treated as my active hand. This would tell about my present environment, and my left hand will be treated as my passive hand, which will tell about my inherited traits. So let's say if you'll find in the left hand, you will find the line of Saturn to be in a very immaculate state, rising from the bottom and reaching till the end of the palm, just at the beneath of the middle finger. So this would just indicate that yes, the original life path was very smooth. I was born with some good condition, good favorable circumstances. But let's say if in my active hand, you'll find the line of Saturn to be rising from above rather than from the passive hand where the line was originating from the bottom. So this would just indicate by my own mistakes, by my own efforts. So this could be related to some miscalculated events, bad health, influence of other people. I have screwed my chances of enjoying very favorable circumstances in terms of wealth. That's the one condition. Second is we also need to check the overall state of the hand as well. Because why? What makes me say that? Because many times like the way we have discussed the archetype qualities associated with the different types of the hand. So for example, the conic hand, the hand in which you will find the fingers to be pointed and a hand to be very soft and very pink in color and very long kind of narrow kind of palm. So those people would remain to be more suited to the artistic and creative endeavors. Same with the philosophical hands, philosophical or naughty hands, all those all this type of hands we have already discussed in the previous videos. So those people remain to be very impractical in terms of the matters of the money. But let's say if you have found the hand to be of square shape, so square type of the hand are the best suited hand for the money making pursuits. So that is the reason why, what makes me say that, because the type of the hand would also create a difference when it comes to checking someone's material pursuit. And lastly, the kind of mistake which old palmists used to make was that they, just because seeing an immaculate line of Saturn, they just assumed that just because this person is getting everything so easy, they just assumed that this person is lucky or this person is fortunate, and they just forgot to look at the other signs present on the hand as well. So you also need to have good thumb in order to have strong determination. You also need to have good index finger, which would indicate ambition. You also need to have good headline, which would just tell about good mental qualities. Then in totality, a good line of Saturn, this would just indicate favorable circumstances. So someone who would have a running through good immaculate state of the line of Saturn, the time of the age which an individual is running, and during that point of time, if this person will put his best forth efforts, so this could just kind of expect good returns and kind of expect good leap forward in his life, just because the circumstances will favor him. So astrology or palmistry or the palm lines never give someone a license to become negligent and become careless. So this is what is not the objective behind all of these meta signs. These meta signs is for us to meet our best talents, to improve our life rather than becoming careless and negligent. So we have discussed various aspects of the line of Saturn in previous videos. Now in this video, what we are going to discuss is the last few aspects, which is also very important for you people to understand. So we'll begin with the length of the line. So what do I mean by length of the line? So majority of the times you will not find the line of Saturn to be a complete following a prescribed complete path. So the line of Saturn which begins from the bottom of the palm. So when it comes to seeing the childhood, on the line of Saturn we check it over here. And when it comes to checking someone's old age, we look at it over here at this point of time, just beneath the middle finger. So not in every hand you will find this line of Saturn to be originating right from the bottom. So let's say if the case would remain to be something like this, that the line is beginning from the bottom only. So this would just indicate that this person is going to get good childhood influence, whether in the form of wealthy parents, whether this guy would remain to be too much focused right from the childhood. So this person would remain very focused when it comes to his all of his goals, setting his ambitions, having strong determination and getting good support of the parents, because this is the time when the person doesn't have his own identity. This is the time when a person is more dependent on his parents. So let's say if you'll find this kind of line to be stopping at over the middle of the palm, so this would just indicate, like the way we have already discussed, the age on the lines. So this point where the fate line touches the headline is indicated as the 30 years of age. So let's say you have found this line to be stopping at the headline or getting diminished beyond this point. So this would just indicate that the reality, hard reality, has come to this person at this point of time. So this would just remain to be a time when this person is, that might be the case that the person has shifted from his home, or that the person has started his own life, person has got married. So the kind of circumstances, situation which this person will run through, that will not be a very smooth flow. And like the way I always say, when it comes to checking the line of Saturn and in terms of checking the remedial measure of the line of Saturn, we also give equal precedence to the presence of the line of Apollo or the line of Sun as well. So let's say in all those points where the line of Saturn has gone missing and on all those ages the line of Sun is present, so this would remain to be a time that the person will feel little bit protected and preserved. Apart from that, the absence of line of Sun and the line of Saturn ending anywhere over here, this would just indicate a time when the person would have to start putting his efforts with more energy rather than completely relying on the kind of environment which he has enjoyed in the childhood. And let's say if the situation would remain to be something like this, that the line of Saturn, after reaching the mount of Saturn, and it has started not from the bottom of the palm, it has started somewhere from the middle of the palm, but it has reached to the bottom of the middle finger to the mount of the Saturn. So this would just remain to be a time, or this would just remain to be an ideal situation when this person, during the childhood, this person was not very lucky, or not someone among those who are like born with silver spoon, where all his demands and requirements have been fed by his parents. But as he would turn 21 or 22, then he would start getting his sense of purpose, his ambition, sense of goal in his life. And let's say, as like the way I have say, whenever line of Saturn is ending on the mount of the Saturn, so this sign can be seen in a two way. First is that the line is completing its termination, completing its prescribed path, and second is the presence of a single deep vertical line on the mount of Saturn has a lifelong effect in a positive way. So when it comes to checking the positive qualities of the line of Saturn, so what are the positive qualities of the planet Saturn? It is wisdom, it is hard work, it is good work ethics, it is the studiousness. So all those qualities would remain to be infused in this person's life. And like the way Saturn is an archetype, Saturn planet is someone who is a late bloomer. So Saturn is a planet which makes someone go through hardship early in his youth and just blesses him with the fruits of his hard work in old age. So this would remain to be an ideal state in this person's life. Now next, the topic which we need to study is what would remain to be the case when you will find the multiple lines of Saturn. So something like this, because this kind of formation is very common to see in majority of the people's hands. So let's say this is the line of Saturn, and you have spotted also one more parallel line running adjacent to it. So this might be a case that the person has two careers. So one might be a case that the career is, one is related to this person's hobby or his creative outlet or his passion, and one is his money making habit or money making pursuit, money making occupation. So this is how these two multiple line of Saturns can be decoded as. And many times what happens is you'll find this kind of horde of the parallel line of Saturns during this point of time. So like the way I've already explained to you people, that the age where the line of Saturn touches the headline is generally assumed as a 30 years of age, and where the line of Saturn touches the heart line is assumed as a 45 years of age. So the maximum formation years of any individual's life would remain to be the period of from the age 30 to the 45 years of the age, when a person has to create his own identity in the world, in the society. So majority of the times you will find multiple kind of lines over here. So this would just indicate that this remain to be the time of too much of haggling and working on multiple projects or multiple kind of investments or multiple sideline businesses as well. So because in today's day and age there are like hardly you would find those people who will just be relying on a single source of income. People have different startups, people have different investment in different ventures, people have their own native land, their native rural income. So there are different parallel mode of incomes which people like have generated in today's day and age. So that might be the case with where you can decode this kind of pattern in between the headline and heartline, and too much of the the hood of the line of Saturns in this way. So that remains to be one definition of this. Second is that many times what happen is that, like the way I've been saying this thing repeatedly, that line of Saturn also tells about our partnership, about our business partnership as well. So anytime you will find the line of Saturn to be something like this, and there will be a second line over here. So this could also indicate a business partner, this could also indicate a committed partnership, and this could also be seen as your marital match. So what would happen is, how you're going to check, because when it comes to line of Saturn, this is the only line in our amongst few lines in our palm which also tells about the presence of another human being in our life. So apart from the influence lines which are found over here on the mount of the Venus, which also tells about the line of influence of other people. This line could be your mother, this line could be your neighbor, this line could be your best friend. So same ways, this parallel line of Saturn could also be seen as your business partner or your wife or your spouse as well. So when it comes to checking that, first of all, you need to be very accurate for these kind of analysis, and secondary is, even if you have decoded that and if you want to know which out of these two lines is your life line, your line of Saturn, and which one is of your spouse's. So in those cases, the one which is close to the lifeline would be considered as your line of Saturn, your fate line, and the one which is close to the percussion side would be taken as your spouse's line of Saturn. So this is about the multiple line of Saturn. Now comes the sign of partnership. How can we see that on the line of Saturn? So when it comes to checking the partnership, the first very clear signification is, whenever you will find any kind of the line coming from the mount of the this moon percussion side and joining this line of Saturn. So this is an ideal state. You need to age the line, and this would remain to be a time when you can just expect some kind of business partnership taking place in an individual's life. And let's say the second sign is when you'll find this kind of line, this in this formation originating and coming out, jutting out from the line of Saturn. So this remain to be another case of the a successful partnership in someone's life. And like the way I always say, when it comes to the scrutinization of the lines, all what we have to do is we need to check whensoever that line has come and joined the major line. So what has become the condition of the line? So let's say if we are checking this as a sign of the partnership. So once this line has come and joined this line of Saturn, so after that point, what has remained the condition of the line of Saturn? Has it improved? Has it got better, or has it got worse? So this would just only tell about the kind of outcome which we can expect from this partnership. So this is about the partnership. These two are the most common signs to be found on the line of Saturn. Next in the series on the line of Saturn is about the signs of inheritance. Like the way I have already made enough videos on the wealth combinations, like the way spotting a symbol of star on the first bracelet is an ideal state of expecting legacy or inheritance. As well, this kind of eye kind of formation on this thumb, eye kind of this on your this knot would also indicate that. But when it comes to checking it on the line of Saturn, on the fate line, so the most like very apparent and very clear sign is whenever you will find any kind of influence lines coming from the mount of the Venus and joining this line of Saturn. So something like this. So this would also remain to be a case of where an individual can expect inheritance in his life. So, because the mount of Venus represents your brother, your mother, your brother, your mother, your father, and all those your family, close knit ties of your families are seen from the mount of the Venus only. So that remains to be the case of this kind of combination where a person can expect inheritance or some kind of legacy. And one more thing, you need to remain very accurate in terms of timing the lines. This is the only tricky part in palmistry. If you can time the lines accurately, then you can just master this form of divination. Otherwise, no matter you have spotted the knowledge of the different combinations, but you will not be able to time them accurately. So that's with the inheritance. Next in the series is next in the series is branches and splits. So like the way I have been saying this thing repeatedly, that upward rising branches is always considered as period of hopes, period of ambition, time when someone is putting his best efforts, time when someone can expect good positive news is, and those remain to be the times when person will not only remain to be cheerful, but also he would strive to improve his conditions. He would put best efforts towards improvement of his conditions. So let's say this is our line of Saturn, and any point of time you will find these kind of rising branches. So these remain to be the time when the person will have tendency to uplift his conditions. This would remain to be the time when the person will remain to be very hopeful, very ambitious, and he will put best efforts in order to improve his conditions. So that remains to be the one sign. Next is any point of time you will find the falling branches from the line of Saturn. Something like this. So this is a time of disappointment, and like the way I always say, you need to check these signs in combination with the whole hand. So let's say any point of time you have spotted these kind of downward branches. First thing which you need to do is you need to age the line. So this might be the time of 26-27 years of age, and at the same time you will also find a symbol of, let's say, island on the heart line under the ring finger. So this is an ideal case. Spotting an island on the heart line under the ring finger is an ideal state of heart related problem. And at the same time, the line of Saturn is also throwing this kind of downward branches, and the lifeline is also at the same age, at the same time is troubled, is showing some kind of affliction in the form of cross, dot. So then this would just heighten the possibility of heart related problem. And when it comes to line of Saturn, this would also indicate some financial trouble and financial losses as well. So this is how analysis is done. And last in the series is studying the branches to mounts. So I have already explained that. So this is our line of Saturn, and any point of time you will find from this line of Saturn any kind of branches going towards to different mounts. So you need to age the line. This would remain to be a time, this point would remain to be a time when the person would feel powerful. He would rise to the best position which he is capable of. This would remain to be the time when the person would strive towards a leadership position. Let's say you have found some kind of branch going towards the Apollo, mount of Apollo. So this would remain to be a time when, because Apollo ring sun, what does sun represent? Apollonian people remain to be very lucky in terms of making good friends, making money, and attracting fame and recognition. So this would remain to be a time when a person can expect good indulgence in good kind of creative and artistic pursuits. This person can expect fame and recognition, and he can also make good money during this point of time when this kind of branch is going towards the ring finger. Next is when you will find some kind of branch going towards the little finger. So what does little finger represent? This mount is associated with the planet Mercury. So this is the mount and the domain of business ability, someone's research ability. These people also remain to be very shrewd in terms of the business matters and the self-expression. So this remain to be a positive time. You need to age this line. So this remain to be a time when this person can expect good business gains in his life. So this is how analysis is done. And last is I have talked about the influence line, chance lines a lot on this series on the line of Saturn. So let me just give you a quick recap of that as well. So these are the major lines: the heart line, the head line, the lifeline. Heart line tells about your emotions, headline tells about your logics, your mentality, the lifeline tells about your health. The secondary lines, one is the line of Saturn, which tells about your wealth and your material pursuits. But when it comes to decoding the different signification which an individual can expect, and we need to decode that what remains to be the reason. So you need to also understand the other minor lines. So what are those lines? So this line, the line which is running parallel to the lifeline, these lines are known as the influence lines, and this is the worry lines. But whensoever these lines get out of this lifeline, we just call them as the the chance lines. So whenever we need to do the analysis that when certain event is going to happen and what remain to be the direction in which we can expect the the culmination of the events, so we need to be the chance lines. So for example, let's say someone who is going through the age of marriage, and we need to check the outcome of that event on the line of Saturn. So for example, this is the line of Saturn. This is our line of Saturn, and any point of time you will find this kind of line coming and joining the line of Saturn from the percussion side. So as you know, this remain to be the domain of other people. This is the domain of your family. So any point of time you will find any kind of line coming and joining to the line of Saturn from this mount of Venus side. So this would remain to be a heightened chance that this person can expect arrival of a spouse or a marriage done because of the wishes of his family. So this is an ideal state of the arranged marriage. And let's say you'll find any line coming from the percussion side and joining the line of Saturn, and that all is happening at the time when person is running through the age of the marriage. So that is something which is very important. So I'm so sorry I marked it on a very early age. This might be the case of 12-15 years of age. So let's say this is the time, something like this, something like this. So this is an indication of love marriage. This is an indication of this is a love marriage, and this is the indication of an arranged marriage. So that's one sign. Another sign is, let's say you have spotted this kind of star on the mount of the Jupiter. So having a star on the mount of Jupiter is a heightened sign of someone being too ambitious, and is a sign of fame, worldwide fame and recognition. So let's say you will find a kind of chance line coming from here and joining the line of Saturn on an island, something like this. So this would remain to be an ideal state that this person has, just because this person was too ambitious, this person had very high set desires and goals. So because of that, just order to become friends with the very high dignitary people, this person has faced the losses. So due to the high ambition and desire to be on a leadership position, this person has faced the, faced the heat of it because of some wrong decisions taken by that person. So this is how analysis is done. These chance lines remain to be of paramount importance. Let's say you have and when it comes to checking the occurrence of these chance lines on the either on the line of Saturn or on the lifeline, then they take more precedence and then they take more significance. So any point of time you will find any kind of lines coming from the mount of the Venus and cutting the line of Saturn. So this would just indicate losses endured by someone of the opposite gender, because this is what mount of the Venus represents. You have found some kind of lines coming from the inner mount of the Mars and cutting the line of Saturn. So this would just indicate losses endured because of the same gender. So this is how analysis is done, and there can be so many significations. So let's say, like the way I've been saying you people, influence line represents other people in our life. This is the influence line. So any point of time you'll find the influence line to be ending on a star. So this is a very negative sign. This what has been written in the books of Palmistry, the Samudrik Shastra, that this might be a case of the death of a parent. All in the cases of all these major predictions, we need to check the signs on the other portion of the hand as well. And the best part about the palmistry is, whenever certain major event is going to happen, so signs will remain to be very very clear on 2-3 portions of the hand, rather than just being on one line the sign being indicated. So let's say you have spotted this kind of influence line ending on a star, and at the same time from this kind of a chance line from this star coming and cutting the line of Saturn. So this would just also indicate the heightened possibility that the person has got completely dejected and completely moved because of this sudden demise of one of his parents. So this is how analysis is done. We need to check it from all the perspective. So I hope you guys found this video informational. For further more updates and notification on palmistry, please subscribe my channel and like my Facebook page. Thanks.